You want to know the difference between rock concerts and hip-hop concerts? At hip-hop concerts, everyone is on beat. They have rhythm. You know what I mean? If the beat's like this, everybody's like this. Whether they're jumping around, there's a rhythm to it. At rock concerts, they're more like just all over the damn place. It's just wilding out. It's crazy, it's ridiculous.
Everybody's been to one.
I begged my mom so badly to go to see it.
Concerts to us, it was kind of like another world.
For some of us, it's the greatest way to experience music.
Energy.
You can just hold the mic out and it just...
Sometimes you're coming from school, I go straight to the show, and you're just letting all your anger out.
When you know that thousands of other people feel the exact same way that you do, it just hits you in the heart.
All my life, I just wanted to rebel against my parents. It shows you're allowed to do that.
I turned green at the Van Halen concert because I smoked and I drank.
All these guys were like smoking, drinking, and getting high. I fell down in the mosh pit. I seriously thought that this was it. I'm gonna die at a concert.
Legs are flying, people are getting smacked in the face, you know. Good time.
My friend tapped me on the shoulder, he was like, just turn around. And this woman just rips her shirt off.
So, how do we go from this to this? Here's a story you've been waiting for, told by the people who live it. You.
My name is Brandy.
Tilo.
Christina Wong.
Louis.
DJ.
Beth.
Lindsay.
Ryan.
Ludicrous.
This is the social history of concerts.
A million years ago, there wasn't anything but sea and sky and jellyfish. And then some people came, and they had thumbs and brains, and they invented something new. And whoever got one first told their friends how they should all get one too. They did, and now it's everywhere, and everyone's got one. It's even got its very own TV show.
My first show was the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I was in these really crappy seats. I'm looking down, and I'm like, I don't want to be here. As soon as the lights went down, we hopped the gate, security guards, it was just like insane. It was the biggest rush.
First concert I ever went to, I couldn't have been but like about 8 years old. I think my uncle took me. I'll never forget it because it was the Ghetto Boys and Public Enemy.
I was in 5th grade, and I was completely obsessed with New Kids on the Block. We stood up on our chairs and we couldn't see anything. I started crying because I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to see Joe McIntyre, who was my favorite.
I was underage, I was out past my bedtime, and it was just great.
My first concert was Sha Na Na.
I decided that I wanted to be a pop star when I'd won tickets to a concert, and the concert happened to be New Kids on the Block. There was something about seeing those guys on stage and seeing the crowd reacting that just got me so excited.
I had won tickets on the radio. This was my very first concert, and it was at a 21 and up place, so my mom had to come with me. And as soon as they hit the lights, I ditched her.
I remember just being so young, and we're doing all these things that you can't do at home, like smoking cigarettes, like picking up on guys, like wearing our dirtiest clothes.
Very first concert I ever went to was Busta Rhymes. All I remember was it took me 2 weeks to find an outfit. You know, you gotta be fresh to death, you know, you gotta get the jean suit, gotta get the Timbs. Like, everything I do is for hip hop. So just being able to go to that concert, now it was one of the best memories I ever had.
But no one remembers the very first concert. Some prehistoric caveman probably drew a crowd when he picked up sticks and banged on something. But here's what we do know. Music on the stage as entertainment that you paid for began with opera. Who was invited? The royal family and their ilk, but of course. But in 1590 in Venice, Italy, the first public opera house opens to the masses, and the concert is born. The first self-promoting rock star? Beethoven. On April 2nd, 1800, he throws a public benefit concert. For whom? Himself. Fast forward to 1938. Carnegie Hall hosts the first big concert for African-American musicians, which single-handedly brings R&B to the mainstream. On March 21st, 1952, the concert as you know it is officially born when radio DJ Alan Freed throws the Moondog Coronation Ball in Cleveland, Ohio. It's the first rock and roll show ever. But it's Elvis Presley who really shakes it all up when he performs at the Overton Park Shell in Memphis, Tennessee in 1954. From that point on, concerts are about more than just the music.
Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby.
I think it was my second Sugar Ray concert, and I just decided to go all out for them. The bass player, Murphy, he saw me down the crowd and I was holding it up and everything. And he showed it to Mark and he took it. I was like in 8th grade at the time, so I was like, ultimate hot guy coming over. I was like, oh. And he's like, wow, did you make this doll for me? I was like, yeah.
I just wanna fly.
God bless you all, man.
I wouldn't, but I think all my friends probably would call me a groupie, because when I go to a concert, I'm like, gotta get to the front row, gotta go try and get backstage, we gotta meet them.
I was like, I'm doing anything to get their attention. I was like, I figure if they think that I've flown from Ireland to America just to see them, they're going to be like, oh, poor girl, let me just tell her where the after party is. So I'm like, I flew 7,000 miles to see you guys. She's like, I'm from Ireland, I'm from Ireland.
There was an artist who was on stage performing. He finished his set and then he comes down. So I looked at him and I lifted my shirt up. And he looks at me and he moves his lips to say, do it again. So I did it again. Usually if you want to get backstage, if you're a girl and you're attractive, you need to do something quick and drastic and seductive. And it helps if you're a 38 double D.
So when did musicians become godlike creatures that possess their followers? 1964, Liverpool, England. The Beatles are chased down by screaming, crying girls who appear to have gone mad.
Some of the fences hold, others do not. This truly is a social document for our time.
Debaucherous 70s rock bands like the Rolling Stones take groupiedom to new heights.
These girls were flown in at great expense to decorate the dressing rooms and the hotel rooms of all of the big guys.
By the 80s, bands like Motley Crue are getting groupies to line up and strip down.
The way they come off, they're just so sleazy. They'll do it anywhere. They want to f your brains out. They just, that's what they're there for. We oblige them.
And these days?
There's girls out there who'll still do anything for some reason to meet the band.
With 30,000 people here, that leaves a lot of options open women-wise.
I'm sexing somebody tonight in Kingston, Jamaica.
We saw a girl that was trying to get our attention the whole show. So when she finally got our attention, she showed us her mouth, and she had a gold grill that spelled out ludicrous in her mouth. And it was permanent teeth, and we let her backstage just to get a picture of it.
After the party for the Spring Bling concert in Philadelphia, I walked up to an artist and I handed him some cherry. I think it was cherry or strawberry, I don't remember which, flavored body whipped cream, and then I asked him if we could use it at the hotel later. And they were at the Hyatt, if I remember correctly, that night. I'm gonna be in so much trouble when my mother sees this.
When Room 5 came to Hofstra, they performed there, and I met them after the show, and after they performed, they signed autographs for a bunch of girls. And Jesse, the keyboard player, came over, and I was like, hey, sign this. And he was like, you don't want my autograph, I'll see you later. So I was like, oh, okay. I felt like, no, you're not a fan anymore, you're gonna become my friend. And I got so excited when he said that, and all these girls turned around and they gave me this like death look, like they were gonna kill me.
Up next,
this is his towel that he sweated on.
I bought the M&M t-shirt just to show that, you know, little white girls from Denver can still like M&M, just to sort of represent, you know, what inspires me, what motivates me.
Here it is, my autographed prized possession Metallica t-shirt from the tour. It actually says "To Chad" on it, personalized. And here's proof for all you Metallica fans out there who think that you're just the only real Metallica fan in the world.
One of the first concert t-shirts I ever bought was a Dinosaur Jr. t-shirt with the cover of Green Mind on it with a girl smoking a cigarette. It's all stretched out, the neck is gigantic on it now. It's about as thin as a piece of paper.
When did this obsession with cotton begin? The first t-shirt is sold in the US as an undergarment for 24 cents. But it's 50s movie star James Dean who brings it to the fashion world in this steamy rebel without a cause. 10 years later, the Beatles cash in. But concert t-shirts don't really start flying off the racks until the early 70s. And this guy was there when it happened.
I started out as the advertising agency for the Allman Brothers Band. So I did this ad, and what I did is I put them in front of a Confederate flag, and I put, hell yeah, the Allman Brothers Band. Printed up some shirts, and I gave it to the band. Well, they loved them so much, they said, why don't you sell these shirts? The first show we did was June 20th in 1973, and they played Nassau Coliseum, and we sold shirts. It basically started an industry.
An industry worth $500 million.
So I sort of keep all my old concert t-shirts as like a badge of courage. And the very first concert I ever went to was Lollapalooza. And even though it was somewhat miserable because I was dehydrated and hot and we were way far back and I totally was molested by this crowd, that was like my rock star outfit. And I would go down the halls of my Catholic school and and field questions about what that concert was like.
This is like my prized possession, and I wear this to every show. Sometimes I go 2 nights in a row though, so I don't want to wear the same shirt.
I buy t-shirts. I just think it's something cool to have, even though they're ridiculously priced. I wear them to bed, you know, of all the places to wear them.
One time I was in Europe, like around London or something like that, and somebody had on a t-shirt. So it kind of surprised me. When you go overseas and you see somebody wearing a t-shirt and you're like, how the hell did they get this? This is my first time here.
You don't wear them in public. You just hang those things up in your room or you wear them to the beach. When you buy a concert t-shirt, you don't want to look like a groupie on the train with your shirt on. Or you give them to your little brother for an undershirt. Not in public.
Never wear the shirt of the band that you're seeing to the show. That guy is the guy that walks into the Beastie Boys show with like the Beastie Boys t-shirt on and the Beastie Boys hat on, and everyone else just looks at him like, you never want to be that guy.
A dime a dozen t-shirts that anyone could buy at the merch stand or anything that's being sold, I'm not into that. What's really important to me is drumsticks, set lists, ticket stubs, things that not everyone else has.
Kids are just like all show, like if you make contact with them, they don't really care about the music. They want to pick, they want a set list, they want water.
They want free stuff.
The most coveted souvenirs are the ones you can't buy, and fans have been collecting them ever since they could get their hands on them.
This is Ryan Dusek. He's a drummer from Maroon 5. This is his towel that he sweated on. I haven't washed the towel, and I probably never will. There's some little weird marks on it, but it'll just sit on my shelf at home.
Exhibit's my favorite. So he's just like turning it up. So then he like takes his towel off and he throws it in the crowd. And once he does that, my heart goes up and it just falls right with it. So I find the girl and I'm like, so, you caught his towel? She's like, yeah, I caught it. So I'm like, yeah, how much do you want for that? She's like, oh, it's not for sale. I'm like, look, just give me the tag or something. This is it. It's Exhibit. Until I meet him, this is gonna have to do.
When Weezer played, they threw water on the crowd, and we got hit by the water. And that's the closest thing I've gotten to. We called it Weezer water. I didn't shower for a couple days.
I collect set lists. I have a whole wall in my room. There's footprints on it. There's notes next to it. Don't screw up on this part. Remember the guitar chain. It makes me feel a lot more connected to the band.
This is the one I'm most proud of. It's from the Mumia Abu Jamal benefit show. Beastie Boys, I mean, I live for them, and I was just screwing my head off to try to get the set list. Oh, let me get that. Yo, right there, please. Yo, please help me out. I got it. I was mad happy.
And this was backstage, a whole bunch of contact numbers from different band managers and stuff, and like the guest list. I know it's wrong, sorry.
A corn drumstick I got from Corn. Threw it out and I caught it. This is from the actual band, like the band played with them on stage and touched them. Low pro. These, when they throw it out in the crowd, you gotta fight for these and really earn them, you know? Or Biohazard. So these are like things I'll keep forever and like treasure them.
Years ago, I used to wear a diaper, and during the course of the set, I would pee in it. And during Just a Girl, there was like this long pause where Gwen was addressing the audience, and I'd lay down on my back, and one of the guys in the band would change my diaper, powder my ass and stuff. And then I would take the wet diaper, chuck it into the audience. It's a pretty good souvenir, isn't it?
Up next,
My shirt's coming up. Someone just goes down my butt crack.
I think stage diving is part of the experience. It's a necessary evil.
You can jump off of things and land on kids and they'll catch you, and you know, it's just the energy. You go crazy. That's what the music is there for.
One time during a Goldfinger concert, he stage dove off to us, and so I put my hands up, of course, and I was kind of feeling his crotch.
I just sort of took a deep breath and closed my eyes and jumped and just...
So how did this become a concert ritual? It's 1967. Iggy Pop takes a leap of faith, jumps into the crowd, and patents the stage dive.
It was the first stage. I did that first. I might be grabbing your hair and singing in your face or kissing you.
In the 80s, metal and punk bands like Black Flag and Sick of It All take stage diving to the underground.
We've had experiences where we've had a show and the club owner say, "I'll take the barricade down." And it turns out like he gave away 400 tickets at a Ween show the other day, and there's these guys like, "Look at these kids stage diving. They're jumping feet first into other kids' heads. It's not good."
And by the early 90s, Nirvana's Kurt Cobain makes stage diving an essential at every grunge show.
You know, I used to be able to jump out in the audience, and then the audience would like carry me all the way to the back and like roll around all the way to the back, like a beach ball at an arena rock concert.
And faster than you can say jump, fans start surfing to the front and diving into the mix.
I came down and I think I kicked this woman in the head. They stopped the song. I don't know what happened. It happened really quick, but I had a golf ball sized bruise in the back.
A lot, because guys grab your butt, they molest you when you're up there. I had never kissed anyone or done anything at that point, and suddenly everyone's running their hands around my waist, my shirt's coming up. It's oh my God, that's so sexual. Someone just goes down my butt crack.
Women start wanting to pull on your damn clothes and grab your hair. I stopped stage diving after I almost got raped one time when I jumped into the crowd, basically. That was it. That was a wrap.
We going side to side. Everybody put your hands up. Let's go side to side with this.
Whatever got hip-hop heads to start throwing their hands in the air and waving them like they just don't care. It's 1973, the Bronx, New York. Rap is in its infancy and hip-hop isn't even a word yet. But things get started with the party shout, and these guys were on the scene when it happened.
I mean, the whole thing of Party Shout started out from people asking for their names to be said. On your way to the stage, people walking up to you, say my name, you know. Mo D is in the house, and Grandmaster Cass is in the house, that kind of thing.
Pretty soon, other MCs are jumping on the bandwagon. But it was a late MC cowboy of the Furious Five who incited more than just a shout back.
He had them spelling his name out. He had them yelling back, calling responses that we had never heard before. What's my name? Whole crowd goes champagne. And at that point, I realized that the party MC and the call out was essential to keeping the party going.
The shout that really got crowds hyped?
Throw your hands in the air was standard. It was a standard call and response. After clap your hands, everybody, that's the next thing to do. Throw your hands in the air, wave them like you just don't care.
And they've been up ever since.
The crowds were put your hands up. And they were like, how high?
Nowadays, it's really cool for the artists to bring back the old school. In the old school, they would say, throw your hands in the air and wave like you just don't care. Your hands are down until they're like, throw your hands up. Until you're like, oh, you know, I'm gonna put my hands up.
Going to a hip-hop show is kind of like a Pilates workout. Rappers are really obsessed, for some reason, with your hands being in the air. Put your hands up, wave them in the sky. Everybody say ho, jump up, make some noise. I don't know what it is about this, that's the thing. It's almost like a square dance even.
You know, you gotta give people their money's worth. Get them to exercise.
It's a workout going to hip-hop shows. They want you to be like this forever and ever and ever. You put your hands down. I didn't say put your hands down. Put your hands up. Come on, y'all. Yeah, can I put them down now?
I had a lighter on me at the Counting Crows concert, and everyone at Jones Beach had a lighter up, and it was awesome. It was really cool. I kind of burned my finger because I was I was a beginner at holding the lighter.
First there were matches, then there was a Zippo, and then
coffee, tea, or a flick of my Bic.
That's right, Bic the disposable lighter was introduced to the world in 1973.
Private, don't you know to flick your Bic in the presence of an officer? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Much to Bic's chagrin, the lighter instantly becomes a staple at arenas around the world. But whatever made folks want to hold up lighters at concerts? It all started at Woodstock in 1969 with a songbird named Melanie.
By the time I did go on, it had started to rain. It was night. Wavy Gravy had gone on and said, Hog Farm is passing out candles, and the rain, will keep the rain away, and it was some inspirational thing. And then I saw the hillside lighting up little by little as I was singing with candles. And it became the thing to do.
By the 80s, metal fans embrace the lighter during the power ballad and get in touch with their softer side. Thanks, Vic.
It was one of the most beautiful things ever. It was the Oz Fest, and Ozzy sang that song, Mama. Mama, I'm coming home. Mama, I'm coming. out there, just lighters on, just like, can't believe it, man. This is beautiful. Just waving up in the air. It was going down.
We have a new thing.
We're gonna patent it right now.
Yeah.
On camera.
Because everyone carries cell phones now, so instead of holding up their lighters, everyone holds up their cell phones, and all the blue-green screens light up the night.
This is the year 2004. So we want everyone to hold up their cellular phones.
And it's like Mark says it on stage. It doesn't make fire safety sense to have lighters in the air. You know, I mean, Smokey wouldn't approve of that.
And I turned around and I looked up at this huge amphitheater. Just 15,000 people all staring back. This moment of just electric connectivity.
The confetti came down and everyone around me started crying. We were all crying and hugging and kissing each other.
When the crowd is saying my words even louder than me saying my words, that moves me more than anything in the world.
He like just looks over at me and my friend, and then we realized that he's looking at us, and we just went. We looked at each other and we were like, oh, he just looked at me. No, he looked at me.
My best friend was like, Jay-Z, I love you. He's like, I hear you up there. I was like, oh. I felt like $1 million. And that was one of the best memories I ever had.